And so when John McCain gets up there with Sarah Palin and says, "We're for change," and now is starting to run television commercials saying that we're the change agents, you know, you've got to ask, well, what are they talking about? How do they have the nerve to say it? When you've been supporting this current president, your party has been in power, and you are not offering anything new. How is it that you're serious about change? You're not. It's empty words. You're just saying it because you realize I had been, oh gosh, that guy Obama's been talking about change, and that seems to be working, so maybe we should try to say it too. I mean, think about it. You guys remember this. You remember it was just like a month ago. They were all saying, oh, it's experience, experience, experience. Then they chose Palin, and they started talking about change, change, change. What happened? What happened? What happened? On health care. On health care, John McCain is offering the exact same plan that George Bush offered, which is to tax your benefits. Basically, what they want to say is take away the deduction for employers to provide you health care. What's an employer going to do if he's not getting his tax break to give you health care? They're having enough trouble trying to give you health care now. They're going to stop giving it. And now John McCain says, well, we'll give you a $5,000 tax credit, which sounds great until you find out your health care costs $12,000. So you're out of pocket $7,000. And if you're, let's say you're 55, and heaven forbid you've got a pre-existing condition, good luck going on the open market and actually trying to buy some health insurance when you're not sponsored in an employer-based plan. You can't buy health insurance. Or if you buy it, it's so expensive you can never use it because the deductibles are too high. That's not change. So what have I said? I've said we are going to work with your employers. If you're already getting health insurance, we're going to work with them to lower your premiums by up to $2,500 per year by emphasizing prevention and wellness and information technologies to streamline the system. And if you don't have health care, you'll be able to buy the same health care that members of Congress give themselves because you're paying their salaries, and they shouldn't have better health care than you. And if you can't afford it, we'll subsidize you. And we won't wait 20 years from now to do it or 10 years from now to do it. We'll do it by the end of my first term as President of the United States of America. That's change. That's change. All right, so let's take a look at education. That's an important issue. Is John McCain offering anything different from George Bush? No. Turns out that his only change that he's suggesting is vouchers, which we've been arguing about for 30 years. That's an old argument. We need to get past that argument. We need to make our schools work. All our schools, our public schools, should work for every child. So that's not change. So what I've said is I'm going to invest in early childhood education, close the achievement gap. I'm going to pay our teachers more money in exchange for more support and more accountability. We are going to make college affordable for every young person in America in exchange for community service. That's change. And that's what I'm going to do when I'm President of the United States. All right, let's see. So we've gone through economy, no change. Healthcare, no change. Education, no change. Foreign policy, no change. Turns out that John, eight's enough. Eight's enough. And in the case of Iraq, 5.5 is enough because we're spending $10 billion a month in Iraq, and the Iraqis have a $79 billion surplus. They're parking oil money in New York banks. They've admitted that it's time for us to start getting our troops out. Even the Bush administration has admitted it's time to start getting our troops out. You know who's still stubborn, holding out? John McCain. That's not change. That's more of the same. On energy policy, what were the Republicans hollering? Drill, baby, drill. What kind of slogan is that? They were getting all excited. They're excited about drilling. Now listen, that's how you get oil. There's nothing wrong with drilling. And I have said that if we're serious about dealing with energy, we've got to have a comprehensive package, and we can explore new reserves, including offshore. But we can't drill our way out of the problem because we only have 3% of the world's oil reserves. We use 25% of the world's oil. Even an oil man like T. Boone Pickens says that's not the answer. What we have to do is invest in retooling the auto industry to make our cars more efficient and make sure they're made not in Japan, not in South Korea, but right here in Michigan and right here in the United States of America. That's change. That's change. Making sure that the batteries that will drive the next generation of electric and hybrid cars are designed here at University of Michigan and Michigan State, and making sure that we are investing in solar and wind and biodiesel and hydroelectric energy, clean renewable energies that will produce 5 million green jobs. Jennifer Granholm has been all over this. She knows what she's talking about. That's how we're going to bring manufacturing back to Michigan with the new energy technologies of the future, and the White House needs to lead. John McCain won't lead, I will lead. John McCain's been there 30 years and hasn't done a thing on this. You need some new leadership to take us into the next century. 8 is enough. 8 is enough. Listen, 8 is enough. All right, let's see. Economy, tax policy, education, healthcare, foreign policy, energy policy, infrastructure. John McCain has no plan to rebuild our infrastructure. And yet, I'm going to get to that. And yet, people were watching the Olympics in Beijing, and you saw the Chinese are building bullet trains and new highways and new ports. What happened to America? Why aren't we rebuilding America? Why are we in Baghdad spending $10 billion? Why aren't we rebuilding America? Our roads, our bridges, broadband lines, our electricity grid. Why aren't we building high-speed rail here in America to go from Detroit to Chicago to Milwaukee to Indiana, putting people back to work, saving on energy? Why aren't we doing that? So you go through this list, and I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating. I keep on waiting for John McCain to explain which of his policies are different from George Bush's. And nobody can tell me. You can ask these reporters here. I hope they're asking them. Because if you're talking about change, then presumably there should be something different. There was a cartoon the other day, it was true. John McCain standing there and he says, "Watch out, George Bush," with the exception of economic policy, tax policy, healthcare policy, foreign policy, education policy, energy policy, and Karl Rove-style politics, we're really going to shake things up in Washington.